You know that feeling when you're lying in bed at night, and your brain decides to replay every embarrassing moment from the last decade? Or when you're about to take action on something important, and suddenly a voice whispers, "Who do you think you are?" That's not just random noise. That's your brain setting traps for you, and you've been walking into them your entire life. But here's the thing, your brain isn't your enemy. It's actually trying to protect you. The problem is, it's using ancient software to navigate a modern world, and those protective mechanisms that once kept your ancestors alive are now keeping you stuck, small, and unfulfilled. Today, we're going to expose the most common mental traps that are sabotaging your potential, and more importantly, I'm going to show you exactly how to outsmart your own brain. Because once you understand these patterns, once you can see them clearly, they lose their power over you. The catastrophizing trap. Let's start with catastrophizing. You've done this 1,000 times. You send a text to someone and they don't respond immediately, so your brain starts writing a screenplay. They hate me. I said something wrong. This relationship is over. I'm going to end up alone. Within seconds, you've gone from an unread text message to dying alone surrounded by cats. Your brain is catastrophizing, and it feels so real because your brain doesn't distinguish between imagined threats and real ones. When you visualize the worst-case scenario, your body responds with actual stress hormones. Your heart races. Your palms sweat. You're experiencing genuine anxiety over something that only exists in your imagination. This trap evolved because our ancestors who worried about worst-case scenarios survived longer. If you heard rustling in the bushes and assumed it was a predator, you lived. If you assumed it was just the wind, you might become lunch. But in today's world, there are no predators in the bushes. There's just your boss who hasn't responded to your email yet. Here's how you outsmart this trap. When you catch yourself catastrophizing, stop and ask yourself 3 questions. First, what's the worst that could actually happen? Not your Hollywood disaster movie version, but the realistic worst outcome. Second, what's the most likely thing to happen? Usually, it's something mundane. And third, if the worst did happen, could I handle it? The answer is almost always yes. Write down your catastrophic thoughts. Seeing them on paper strips away their power because they usually look ridiculous in daylight. That's your brain's fear software running wild, and you don't have to believe everything you think. The all-or-nothing trap. Next up is all-or-nothing thinking. You start a diet on Monday, eat a cookie on Tuesday, and by Wednesday you've concluded that you're a failure with no self-control, so you might as well eat the entire pantry. You miss one gym session and decide you're not a workout person. You make one mistake at work and conclude you're terrible at your job. This trap is exhausting because it makes everything feel like life or death. There's no middle ground, no spectrum, no room for being human. You're either perfect or you're garbage, and since perfection is impossible, you end up feeling like garbage most of the time. Your brain loves binary thinking because it's simple and requires less energy. But life isn't binary. Success isn't binary. Growth isn't binary. Progress is messy, non-linear, and full of setbacks, and that's completely normal. Here's your counter strategy. Start thinking in percentages instead of absolutes. Instead of, "I'm terrible at this," try, "I'm about 30% where I want to be, which means I've made progress and I have room to grow." Instead of, "I completely failed today," try, "I succeeded at about 60% of what I intended, which is pretty good." Embrace the concept of good enough. Perfection is a myth that keeps you paralyzed. Good enough gets things done, builds momentum, and leads to actual achievement. Every expert you admire started out terrible and had countless mediocre days on their way to mastery. Give yourself permission to be in progress. The confirmation bias trap. Here's a sneaky one, confirmation bias. Your brain is constantly filtering reality through your existing beliefs, and it's always looking for evidence that you're right. If you believe you're unlucky, you'll notice every time something goes wrong and completely ignore the 100 things that went right. If you believe people don't like you, you'll interpret every neutral interaction as rejection while dismissing genuine signs of affection. This trap is dangerous because it creates a self-fulfilling prophecy. Your beliefs shape what you notice reinforces your beliefs, and you end up trapped in a loop that confirms your worst assumptions about yourself and the world. Your brain does this to maintain consistency and save energy. It's easier to fit new information into existing patterns than to constantly update your worldview. But this mental shortcut keeps you stuck in outdated stories about who you are and what's possible for you. The way out is active skepticism toward your own beliefs. When you find yourself thinking, "See? I knew this would happen," pause and ask yourself what you might be missing. What's the evidence against your belief? What are you filtering out? Actively look for counterexamples. Challenge your narratives. If you believe you're bad at relationships, make a list of every positive interaction you've had in the last month. If you think you're not creative, document every small creative choice you make in a day. You'll be surprised how much contradictory evidence you've been ignoring. The sunk cost trap. This one keeps people in dead-end jobs, toxic relationships, and projects that no longer serve them. The sunk cost fallacy tells you that because you've already invested time, money, or effort into something, you need to keep going, even when every fiber of your being knows it's wrong. You've spent 3 years in a career that makes you miserable, so you think, "I can't quit now. I've already invested so much." You've been in a relationship for 5 years that isn't working, but you've already put in 5 years, so leaving feels like wasting all that time. You're reading a terrible book, but you're on page 200, so you might as well finish. Your brain hates waste and loss. It weighs what you've already spent more heavily than what you stand to gain or lose in the future. But here's the truth, the time is already gone. The money is already spent. The only question that matters is, what's the best use of my time and energy moving forward? The moment you understand this, you're free. Every moment is a new choice. The past is a lesson, not a life sentence. Ask yourself, if I were starting from scratch today with no prior investment, would I choose this? If the answer is no, that's your answer. Your sunk costs aren't investments in your future. They're tuition fees for the wisdom you've gained. Take the lesson, release the loss, and redirect your energy towards something that actually serves your future self. The comparison trap. Social media has turned this ancient trap into a modern epidemic. You're scrolling through your feed, and everyone else seems to be living their best life. They're more successful, more attractive, happier, more fulfilled. Meanwhile, you're in your pajamas eating cereal for dinner, feeling like you're falling behind in a race you didn't even know you were running. Your brain is wired for social comparison because, evolutionarily, knowing where you stood in the tribe mattered for survival. But now you're not comparing yourself to your tribe of 50 people. You're comparing yourself to millions of people's highlight reels, filtered and curated to show only their best moments. This trap drains your motivation and creativity because you're measuring your behind-the-scenes reality against everyone else's edited performance. You're comparing your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 20, and concluding that you're behind. Here's the truth that will set you free: there is no race, and there is no behind. Everyone is on their own timeline, dealing with struggles you can't see, fighting battles they don't post about. The person you're envying is probably envying someone else. The antidote is to make your past self your only competitor. Are you better than you were last month, last year? That's the only comparison that matters. Celebrate other people's wins without making them mean something about your worth. Their success doesn't diminish your potential. There's enough room for everyone to win. And when you feel that comparison creeping in, get curious instead of competitive. Instead of, "Why don't I have that?" ask, "What can I learn from their approach?" Turn envy into inspiration and competition into collaboration. The mind-reading trap. You walk into a room and your friend seems quiet, so you immediately assume you've done something wrong. Your boss has a neutral expression in a meeting, and you're convinced you're about to be fired. Someone doesn't laugh at your joke, and you decide they think you're stupid. You're mind-reading, and you're terrible at it. We all are. Yet your brain insists on filling in the blanks of other people's thoughts and feelings, and it almost always fills them in with your worst fears. This trap stems from your brain's need to make sense of social situations and predict threats. But your predictions are heavily influenced by your own insecurities and past experiences. You're not reading their mind. You're projecting your fears onto their silence. The reality is, most people are thinking about themselves, not about you. Your friend might be quiet because they had a rough day. Your boss might be neutral because they're focused on the presentation. Someone didn't laugh at your joke because they didn't hear it, or they're distracted, or humor is subjective. Stop the mind reading by asking instead of assuming. Hey, you seem quiet today. Everything okay? I noticed you didn't respond to my idea in the meeting. What are your thoughts? Direct communication eliminates 90% of the stories you create about other people's thoughts. And when you can't ask, give people the benefit of the doubt. Choose the most generous interpretation of their behavior. Not because you're naive, but because it's usually closer to the truth than your worst-case scenario, and it's definitely better for your mental health. Breaking free. Here's what you need to understand: these mental traps aren't signs that something is wrong with you. They're features of human psychology, and everyone falls into them. The difference between people who stay stuck and people who move forward isn't that one group doesn't experience these traps. It's that they've learned to recognize them and respond differently. Your brain is powerful, but it's not infallible. It makes shortcuts, jumps to conclusions, and sometimes protects you from dangers that don't exist while ignoring opportunities that do. The good news is that you're not your brain. You're the awareness behind it, and you can learn to observe your thoughts without being controlled by them. Start paying attention to your thought patterns. When you feel stuck, anxious, or overwhelmed, pause and ask yourself, which mental trap am I falling into right now? Name it. The simple act of recognizing a pattern begins to break its power over you. Practice cognitive flexibility. Your first thought doesn't have to be your final thought. You can question your assumptions, challenge your beliefs, and choose different perspectives. This isn't about toxic positivity or pretending problems don't exist. It's about refusing to let your brain's automatic patterns dictate your reality. Remember, your brain is a tool, and like any tool, it needs the right operator. You are that operator. These mental traps have kept you stuck long enough. It's time to outsmart your own brain, reclaim your power, and start building the life you actually want. You have everything you need to break free. The awareness is there. The choice is yours. Now go show your brain who's really in charge.